The concept of work as we know it is dying. By 2035, more than 40% of current professions will have disappeared. In their place, jobs that sound like science fiction today will emerge and become as common as bank tellers were in the 80s or programmers in the 2000s. We are facing the greatest labor revolution in human history, driven by a single force: artificial intelligence. What we are witnessing is not just a change, but a complete reinvention of the very concept of work. And the most surprising part is that it's already happening. Jobs that are disappearing. In 2035, thousands of tasks that currently require hours of human labor will be executed in seconds by algorithms. A prime example is the call center industry, which employs over 15 million people worldwide. It will be replaced by 80% with multilingual AI assistants capable of serving millions of users simultaneously. The impact will be massive. A single language model can do the work of 10,000 human operators, reducing costs by up to 70% for businesses. But it's not just about customer service. Autonomous driving threatens more than 20 million professional drivers in the cargo and passenger transport sectors. In cities like San Francisco, driverless taxis already travel over 2 million kilometers a year without a chauffeur. Projected to 2035, we're talking about a world where the concept of a professional driver will be as strange as the human alarm clock of the 19th century. Another case is basic accounting. What once required an entire team can now be solved in seconds with AI that processes millions of records without error. In Japan, banks like Fukoku Mutual Life Insurance have already replaced more than 30% of their administrative staff with AI systems capable of automatically evaluating insurance claims. The message is clear: repetitive, linear, and predictable jobs are doomed to disappear. Jobs that are emerging. But here's the fascinating part. Every job that dies gives way to others we never could have imagined. In 2035, professions linked to the design, supervision, and ethics of artificial intelligence will emerge. One example is the cognitive model architect, a role responsible for training systems to think and reason in specific ways. In 2023, OpenAI was already paying more than $300,000 annually to advanced prompting engineers. Imagine how those who define how an AI interacts with millions of people will be valued in 2035. The virtual experience designer will also appear. In a world where the metaverse and augmented reality merge with daily life, someone will have to create immersive environments for education, work, and leisure. According to estimates, the virtual economy will be worth more than $5 trillion by 2030. And one of the most powerful fields is AI-augmented medicine. This includes surgeons assisted by predictive algorithms, personalized therapies created in seconds, and specialists in digital biohacking. Professions that seem experimental today will be standard by 2035. Education is reinventing itself. The school of 2035 will look nothing like the one we know. Today, a teacher serves 30 students in a classroom. In the future, each student will have a personalized digital mentor, an AI tutor capable of adapting teaching to each student's individual pace, interests, and abilities. Imagine learning math with an assistant who understands exactly where you make mistakes and provides explanations designed just for you. Trials already exist. In 2024, AI systems were shown to improve the academic performance of high school students in the United States by 40%. Projected to 2035, we're talking about entire generations learning 10 times faster. This opens up a new profession, the digital learning curator, responsible for designing personalized educational pathways with AI. It's a job that blends pedagogy, programming, and creativity. Instead of teaching to the masses, these experts will guide each student's intelligence with surgical precision. And it's not just in schools. Entire universities will migrate to immersive virtual campuses, where students can attend classes in 3D worlds, debate with holograms, and conduct practical work in simulated labs with absolute fidelity. Education will no longer be a single path. It will be a highway of millions of possible routes. Entire sectors undergoing transformation. The arrival of new professions will not be isolated. Entire sectors of the economy will change their rules of the game. Agriculture, for example, currently requires millions of human hands. In 2035, smart farms with sensors, drones, and autonomous robots will produce food with 90% less human intervention. As early as 2025, companies like Iron Ox are operating 100% automated greenhouses. By 2035, we will see the rise of the artificial ecosystem engineer, responsible for designing farms that function with almost no humans. Construction won't be left behind either. 3D printers have already built houses in less than 24 hours. In the future, digital architects will work with construction robots capable of building skyscrapers in weeks, not years. This gives rise to the automated project supervisor, a role that coordinates machines, algorithms, and humans on colossal projects. Mental health will also take an impressive turn. The WHO estimates that depression will be the leading cause of disability by 2030. To combat it, hybrid therapists will emerge, professionals supported by emotional AI that detects patterns in people's voices, gestures, and language. We're talking about professions like the assisted digital psychoanalyst, capable of working with algorithms that process thousands of hours of conversations to find personalized solutions. What used to take decades of clinical research will be obtained in a matter of seconds by 2035. The social impact work is not just a salary, it's identity, purpose, and belonging. In 2035, as millions of jobs disappear and just as many are born, our relationship with what working means will change forever. Today, more than 3.3 billion people make up the global workforce. By 2035, at least 1.4 billion of those workers will have changed roles, sectors, or even entire industries. Never before in history has there been such a massive readjustment, not even during the Industrial Revolution or the digital age. The impact will be visible in everyday life. A family in the future won't talk about working in an office or getting a stable job. We'll talk about hybrid projects, human-machine collaborations, and professional careers that reinvent themselves every 5 years. A concrete example. In 2022, the average person changed jobs 4 times in their life. In 2035, a young person will change roles 12 to 15 times before the age of 40. Stability will no longer be the norm, but adaptability will. The human side of AI. Many fear that AI will replace us, but the reality is even more surprising. AI will augment us. In music, for example, algorithms already compose symphonic pieces in seconds. But in 2035, we will see the emergence of professions like the human AI creativity curator, responsible for combining the human emotional spark with the machine's infinite capacity. The result? Artistic works created in collaboration with algorithms capable of processing in seconds what a musician would study for 20 years. In medicine, we will no longer talk about doctors who diagnose alone. We will talk about hybrid teams where every clinical decision is validated with artificial intelligence. This doesn't eliminate the doctor. It turns them into a strategist supported by a digital brain that never gets tired, never forgets, and never misses a detail. Even in emotional areas like psychology, AI will not replace human empathy. What it will do is multiply it, offering the therapist information that is impossible to detect with the naked eye. Micro-expressions, subtle changes in vocal tone, and behavioral patterns hidden in years of data. The message is clear. In 2035, we won't be replaced. We will be augmented. A new definition of success. Success at work will no longer be measured by hours spent at a desk. It will be measured by impact, creativity, and the ability to adapt. Imagine a society where the important thing isn't having a steady job, but participating in global projects alongside artificial intelligence. A real-world example. In 2025, freelancing platforms already connected more than 100 million people with temporary remote jobs. In 2035, that number could exceed 500 million, with international projects completed in weeks. The idea of retirement will also transform. With AI covering a large part of routine tasks, there will be more free time and more opportunities for reinvention. Work will be a constant choice, not a fixed chain. When work stops being work. For the first time in history, we've reached a point where work is no longer a condemnation or an obligation. In 2035, millions of tasks that consume our lives today will be automated. And an inevitable question arises. If we're not working like we used to, then what do we do with our existence? The answer is already emerging today. People are combining artificial intelligence with personal, creative, scientific, and artistic projects. It's no longer about surviving with a job, but about living by creating. In South Korea, for example, AI labs are freeing researchers from repetitive tasks, allowing them to focus on life-changing discoveries. In Europe, digital architects are designing entire cities in simulators, optimizing every detail before a single brick is laid. Work is becoming a means of expression, an extension of human curiosity. The numbers of the future. To put the impact into perspective, let's look at the numbers. 40% of current jobs will disappear. More than 1.4 billion workers will change professions. The AI economy will reach $15 trillion by 2035, more than the combined GDP of China and India in 2022. Up to 500 million people will work on temporary global projects in a borderless labor network. Each number is a signal. Each piece of data is a warning. We are not facing a simple change. We are facing a reprogramming of the world of work. The new human identity work will no longer be what defines us. What will define us is the ability to learn, unlearn, and reinvent ourselves. In the past, a last name was inherited, and so was a trade. Today, a child born in 2025 will not have a predetermined career path. At 10, they will learn from a digital tutor. At 20, they will create projects with artificial intelligence. At 30, they may have changed professions 5 times. And at 40, they will be able to completely reinvent themselves in a matter of weeks. Success will no longer be being an engineer or being a doctor. Success will be about being adaptable, creative, and human in a world of machines. We are on the brink of a new era, an era where the jobs we knew are becoming extinct, and in their place, professions we can barely imagine today are being born. Where work stops being a routine and becomes a possibility. 2035 will not be a distant future. It will be an immediate present. And the real question isn't which jobs will survive, but are you ready to reinvent yourself with them? The future of work is not something you wait for. It is built today.